Hi guys, welcome back to Monday Scaries, where I publicly heal from private drama. Today we're going to be getting a little messy if that's okay with you. So, sit down, grab a snack, because it's going to get messy. But before we do, I do want to give a little update on Chad. It's been a while. It's been a while. The other videos and episodes I had planned, I ended up not uploading, mostly because I didn't want to. So, that's it. Oh, I don't know if I gave the update on Chad. I literally just lost like 5 brain cells right now. Anyways, the update on Chad was he did ask me to be his girlfriend. Yay. We've been together. Happy, live, laugh, loving couple of like a month and a half. Don't hold him. Don't hold him. So yeah. Um is it don't hurt him? I think it's don't hurt him. I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling, so we're just gonna go ahead and get right into what I need to talk about because this shit makes me so mad. So, I lost all my friends in the last like 3 months. Not all of them. I still do have friends. But my three closest, well, my four now. Now I lost four of them. Was it four? No, it was three. My three closest friends that I made in Florida at the time. I lost them one by one. Each each girl was voted off the villa, and not necessarily by me, but it happened. So let's talk about it. We'll start at the very beginning because I feel like you need a little bit of context. When I first moved to Florida, I had no friends, obviously, don't know anybody here, not from here. And I didn't want any friends either because I wasn't planning on staying. I was planning on going back to Los Angeles to be back with my, at the time, shit boyfriend. Um, but that didn't end up happening. And the dogs are already starting barking. Like, I just started recording and they're already starting to bark. Don't join in on this. It's gonna make me really mad. So please be quiet. Yeah, I had planned on returning to California, so I wasn't really open to making friends. But when I had started my job, I was working as a waitress at a restaurant, um, that was basically only girls. Like only girls served there. We had male bussers and barbacks and managers, but for the most part, most of my peers were women. So it's kind of hard, like working around a lot of girls, being a girl's girl and not having friends, like it's gonna happen naturally. So I'm gonna change their names out of respect, but basically, as I had started working, I like met this girl named Nina. That's what we're gonna call her for the purpose of this video. And we started to vibe. She had kind of similar hair, similar, and to another girl's hair that worked there. So I would always be confused when I would talk to this one girl, and I got a weird, different vibe than when I would talk to Nina. Eventually, Nina and I had made plans with another girl who was going to be our friend, Allie, we'll call her Allie, to like go to a Pilates class, but those plans kept falling through. Like it was just like talk, it never had actually happened until one day Nina had invited me, Allie, and Ava, another girl, over to her house for a bonfire. I think Nina and Ava had been friends previously, like together, and I think Ava and Allie had also had their own friendship going on. I was kind of friends with Allie a little bit before we all started being friends, just because we had been scheduled together every single night for like 3 weeks closing. So we had spent a lot of time together. But other than that, like I wasn't really close with any of them, really. So I was kind of nervous to be going over to Nina's house. And my ex-boyfriend had really not wanted me to go over there because he was like very controlling. He didn't want me to make friends, and he just thought I was cheating on him, which I never cheated on him. So I don't know why he thought that, but more of the story is he thought that. Anyway, so I get the courage to go over to their house and I have a blast. There's some other girls there too that I had worked with, and a couple guys that we had also worked with, and I had a good time. Honestly, I didn't expect to have that good of a time. Um, and then something had happened where Nina's like ex or something came because we had prank called him, and he pulled up to her house and started shooting his gun onto her property, which was crazy. So at that point, like I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I think we were all like, what the fuck? But at that point I was like, okay, we're trauma bonded for life. Like we're locked in because it was fucking scary, at least for me. I don't know if all the other girls were scared. Um, I don't really think they were, but for me, with as a person with trauma behind like guns, oh, my necklace is crooked. It was scary as shit. So Yeah. So slowly, we started hanging out more and more and more. Like, actually, it wasn't slow at all. After that point, we started hanging out very rapidly, regularly, pretty much like multiple times a week. We would FaceTime, we had a group chat, like we were very much in tune with each other's schedules and lives and stuff. And my plans to leave Florida, at this point, I wasn't going to go back to California, I was going to go to Colorado, had faded. They were like basically not there. Me and my ex-boyfriend at the time were not doing good at all. He was very controlling, and I basically knew I wasn't gonna go. I just needed kind of some strength to cut things off with him. And but very rapidly we had started making travel plans, talking about our futures as a friendship, just like telling each other our deepest secrets and like really actually becoming really close friends. We would like sit in Allie's car for hours and just talk and just talk and just talk and just talk and just talk. Like it was really refreshing for me because I hadn't had new friends like that. I have my two best friends always, hopefully. But I haven't had like new girlfriends like that to get to know in a while because I hadn't been open to it, mostly because of my relationship. So being around these girls truly for me was like a breath of fresh air. Like I can't explain how grateful I was for these girls. I still am very grateful for them because I really needed them at that time. But my life was miserable before I had met them. And it was literally like a breath of fresh air. Like the love that we all had for each other, I feel like was so much bigger than anything I thought. That sounds really cringy, but I genuinely thought that. I don't know if I'm just stupid. And yeah, eventually they had given me the strength and drive to be an independent girl again and find my independence again and exit my toxic relationship, which was going to happen either way, but they really like were there for me and gave me the strength to do so and the motivation to do so and better myself. And so for that, that's why I'm the most grateful for them, because I really needed them. And who knows, I probably would have still been in a jacked up situation if it wasn't for them, honestly, because when you are going through something like that, it's so hard to escape. Like I literally thought like the only way for me to get out of this relationship was death. Like I was going to have to, one way or another. But obviously that's not true and they proved me wrong. And one of the girls, Allie, had also gone through a similar thing with an ex as I was going through. Like she had lived with him, she had done the whole shebang. So she really helped me because this was the most independent girl I have ever met in my life. Like she would just go to Miami by herself, drive around, like do all this stuff. So I was like, if she can do it, like I definitely could do it because we're peers, and she did the same thing that I'm gonna have to do. So I don't know, like she really motivated me in a way. And one of the other girls had also had like a crazy relationship or something, and that had also really motivated me because I'm like, these girls like are going through, they're also going through things, like, you know? So if they can do it, like I probably can do it too. And now I even have them for advice and to lean on and to talk about it and to work through this. So that it was such a great feeling, and I think everybody in my life had seen everything change about me because I was so depressed before I started hanging out with them. And then I started making these new friends, going to the beach, going outside, doing fun things that people my age are supposed to do. And it's like a switch. Like I started becoming me again, which is what my ex didn't want me to do. But we're not talking about him today. We're talking about why I lost all my friends. I just wanted to paint the picture of our beautiful friendship. But anyways, as all good things do, it did come to an end. Um, the first situation that I remember, I'm sure there was some other like fallouts or something before this. I know there was. I just don't remember what it was. I'm not really good at memorizing things, so I'm just gonna talk about things that I do remember happening. Was the N-word situation. We called it the N-word situation, actually. So I'm obviously black, and my other friends, none of them were black. I was the only black girl. Um, but we had a friend who I'm still friends with. Um, but we had a friend, guy friend, who like called me the N-word, and I told him I didn't like it. He was Mexican. I know the lines there are blurry for some people, but I think it's a black people thing. Say the word if you're black if you want to. Don't say it if you're not. So, anyways, he called me the N-word. I expressed that I didn't like it. but I think he thought I was joking. And so I was literally talking to the girls right before he called about how I don't like when he does this to me and it makes me really uncomfortable. And then lo and behold, he calls. And what does he do? He calls me the N-word, like right the moment he answers the phone. So I, like, it pisses me off. It pissed me off so bad. And something about me is I get angry not often, actually. I don't really get pissed off very often. But when I do, it's pretty severe, but I also get over it really quick. Like, I hate being angry. I can't hold a grudge, so I get over things really quickly. For the most part, I would say. Anyways, it pissed me off, and I started going off on him, and then like they hung up on him, and then I was like upset. One of the girls was telling me like you're overreacting, like da 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 da, like trying to calm me down. I think she had good intentions. That was Ava. Ava was trying to calm me down. She totally had good intentions, but it just like you don't get it, you know? Like you just don't get it. You don't understand what it's like and how demeaning that is, especially from somebody who you care about to be calling you that, you know? So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna go home. It's late at this time. I'm pissed off. I need some alone time before I go off on my two friends that I was with, Ava and Nina at the time. And yeah, so then I think when I got home, Nina texted me saying, like, Ava didn't mean to piss you off, you know, like, we're here for you, just like all that stuff. Ava had texted me and apologized too, and then was like, it is just a word, it shouldn't have that much control over you, and just saying like stuff that I think she thought would be helpful, but it just really wasn't helpful. She was telling me like she's Mexican, and it's like the same thing as like if I were to say a slur towards Mexicans, which I'm also half Mexican, and on top of that, I don't say those slurs, and I don't. That's not something that's in my vocab. I barely even say the N-word ever, if ever. So it would just like to me, I was just like this is like weird vibes. Like it's really weird vibes, and I felt like they were trying to get me to shut up. I was really upset about that for probably a couple days, but I did forgive them and we moved on, and a situation like that didn't happen again, really. But that was kind of like the first thing that had happened. And I had talked to the other girl, Allie, about it, and she was the only white girl in the friend group. When I was talking to her about it, she like really validated my feelings, so I thought. But come to find out, they were all like talking shit about the problem, like saying that I was just being over dramatic to each other behind my back. But again, like you don't get it. It's not, you know. Also, I am in Florida and I'm not from Florida. I'm from the West Coast. So it's like it's completely like I don't know how to explain it. Like that's wouldn't even happen in Colorado or California. That would not happen. Like socially it is not acceptable, and that was the way I was raised. That's the way I've experienced things. So like coming here and like experiencing that and people just thinking like, "Oh, it's okay." Like to me irks my soul because it's not, and it's not the way I was raised, and it does make me really, really uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, anyways, and the talking about situations behind your back thing was a huge theme in our friendship. Like anytime somebody had a falling out, like all of us knew about it. There wasn't really like I didn't feel like there were secrets, come to find out there was, but there wasn't like we all knew about it. Like you were discussing it with each other and like the next move as a group. And I feel like that was part of the problem because throughout the friendship, there was a huge theme of shaming each other for one another's decisions or getting mad at each other for one another's decisions. I like to think I wasn't, but maybe I was, but I never really felt in my soul. Like, I never genuinely was super upset with any of the decisions these girls had made unless it was something like severe like that, or invalidating somebody's feelings. Like, I was never so upset with any of them at any point. They did feel that way with each other and probably me at multiple times. But I do think that it did come from a place of love. Like, I think we just all wanted each other to behave and what we thought was the best way for them to behave. Like we wanted the best for each other. So like if somebody was talking to a guy that wasn't asking them out, like and we're all upset with her for prioritizing him over everybody else, like it was more because we didn't want her to get hurt. And I think it came from a place from love or like just different situations. And most of the issues did pertain to like one of us, because eventually I was single too, and so they were all three single. It eventually did have to do with like us getting boyfriends or talking to guys like that would destroy the friendship. Figure. Anyways, we're gonna skip over some stuff because there's a lot of details and small fights and instances that I don't really remember much of and I don't think are very important. So we're just gonna jump into the good, juicy stuff. But I basically wanted to lay down a good foundation for what the friendship was looking like so you can understand. Okay. Number one, the first girl to go was Allie. That's what I called her. Her name was Allie. She was kicked out of the group because so me and Nina were both very political people. We are very I don't know, we just like to stand up for human rights for each other. And I think when we all started being friends, it was under the impression that all four of us were like that. Anyways, there was a few build-ups to things I think that had eventually led her to not being in the friend group anymore, but we're gonna start. So she started dating this guy that none of us really liked because we all thought he was a little bit of a Trumpy, which is fine, but I don't know, like none of us really liked him, and then like their situation started to seem like I think it was just too big of a change for us all to handle too fast, honestly. And so like he wasn't our favorites, but at the end of the day, like he did treat her well, so yeah. She started dating this guy, which I think was really pissing off Nina at the time, especially because she really didn't like him. Um, and she's very adamant on that stuff. Like if you are a Trumpy, like she wants nothing to do with you. And I mostly feel the same way too, actually. So but like I said earlier, Allie was the most independent out of all of us. So it really, I think, like threw all of us off. We were like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who got our girl, bro? She also had some family and personal stuff going on that we weren't allowed to share with Ava at the time because Ava was really religious and it just like it was her private information. Her and Ava were having like their own like thing going on. Allie didn't want to be around Ava. Ava didn't know Allie didn't want to be around Ava. And I feel like so we couldn't tell her. So I was trying to like tell Ava what I could without oversharing and like crossing any boundaries and like still be there for her and hang out with her because I didn't want her to feel like she was excluded because she was very important to me. Like all three of these girls were so important to me, so I didn't want her to ever feel like she was excluded. But eventually like it seemed like Allie and Nina were always mad at Ava. Like anything Ava could do, they were always mad at her. They talked the most crap about Ava out of like the most random situations, but it would always throw me off because they would talk so bad about her, and then when we would hang out, like they would be the closest with her. I wasn't like always in her face or anything. Me and Ava, our friendship didn't start to develop until like later, you know? Um, I think we got closer later on, kind of during this time. So this is about like I want to say like March or February time. So um Allie's going through her own personal information or her own personal situation. Ava can't know about it. Nina's going through her own family situation at the time too, but still trying to be there for Allie, and it just kind of started a lot of tensions. Like Nina was very selfless in taking care of Allie during the thing she was going through, and so when Allie started distancing herself for a guy, like it definitely pissed Nina off really bad. It just made me feel really guilty hearing the way they were talking about Ava and the way that they didn't want Ava to be involved in anything, but like still smile on her face. So like at that time, like I had started hanging out with Ava more. Like we started hanging out with some friends that we had met, and we started like just hanging out, like talking more on the phone, because like that really triggered me and kind of reminded me of like some middle school behavior. Like I felt like our friendship overall, with all the drama and talking behind each other's backs constantly, literally was so immature I could not handle it, which is ironic because one of the girls thought that I was immature, which I'm sure I am. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, I'm like talking to a camera about some bullshit, so like obviously I'm a little immature. I'm 21. I was 20 at the time. Like I obviously, but I have lived so many life experiences where like I just don't necessarily think that was like I feel like that might have been a projection. That's all I'm gonna say. Clock it. I also think that Ava she was the youngest out of all of us, and I think she may have come off as immature. I don't think she was necessarily immature at all. I think she just communicated her feelings in a different way than like me and Nina did. Me and Nina would talk about everything if we had a problem with each other or one another. Um, Pretty well, I would say. And then Allie and Ava were more like reserved. They didn't like to talk about their feelings as openly. And so I think that like naturally started like an uproar. At some point, I think this is how it happened. At some point, Allie at work just kind of stopped talking to us. She stopped like replying to us, stopped just like being around us. And so we thought that she was like cutting us off, or because we always had a joke in our friend group, like, oh, you're gonna get cut off. Foreshadowing. Um, anyways, we had all like kind of, well, one, we were concerned about her because she was going through something, and two, we were like, what the heck is going on? And so I don't really know how it happened, but at some point, Nina and Allie, there was like at some point there was some dialogue exchanged about Allie not wanting to go with us to a protest for this was like regarding like all the deportations that were happening, because she said like it's not her fight, it's not her problem, she doesn't need to be in that business. Um, which really pissed us all off, I would say, because it's like, well, you're the only white girl in this situation. Um, but I don't know if she was just coming from a place of like not understanding. Regardless, that was like kind of what had put like that was like the nail in the coffin with her. So after that, we all like distanced ourselves pretty well. I was really sad about this though, because I did really love her. I think we were all very sad. And then at some point, Ava had talked to Allie about what was going on. Ava was kind of like a mediator in the situation, which is crazy because Allie talked the most crap about Ava. Like Allie and Nina, I don't even think they ever really liked her. I really don't. Which is so crazy. But she was kind of a mediator at this time and was able to talk to Allie, and Allie had said like, "Oh, she was like, "Oh, I think it's funny that Nina's so upset when Nina's actually racist towards white people." Which, if you don't know, reverse racism isn't a real thing, doesn't really happen. It could be prejudice, but reverse racism doesn't actually exist. Yeah, and she's not. She Nina's literally not racist. I also don't think Allie is racist. So after Allie had called Nina racist, we had to cut her off. I didn't want to. I did reach out to, or I had talked to Allie at work, and like we talked like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. She's not mad. She like apologized, but she never talked to Nina about it. She never apologized to Nina. So I was thinking like, oh, everything's gonna go back to normal. We're just gonna have to talk about the situation, and it's gonna be fine. But no, it wasn't fine. So basically, Nina had like I had talked to my mom. My mom was like, "Yeah, you need to cut off Allie. Like, stand by Nina. That's your girl. Stand by her." So I did. I stopped talking to Allie. I did end up texting her at some point telling her I missed her because I did. I told her if she ever needs anything she can come to me. But yeah, we all just kind of severed ties with Allie, basically out of support of Nina. So now it's just me, Ava, and Nina in our friend group. And we also have this guy, Isaac, who is our friend. I'm still friends with him, as I said, but he doesn't really come into play as much until later. But again, like when we all hang out, like Isaac would be there too. Yeah, so I'm still kind of recovering from my breakup at this point. Me and Ava are hanging out a lot. We're going out with these guys that we had met at work. We're going to their house, Ava, we're just having a grand old time. And then there was a guy that like Ava had hit it off with. There was a guy I had hit it off with. So we were just like enjoying our time hanging out together. This only lasted like a weekend though. So it felt like forever, but it really only lasted a weekend or so. And then Ava ended up getting a boyfriend. And so we stopped doing that for the most part. But at this point, everything seems to be going fine with all of us. Like, Nina is getting mad at us for going out, and that's a theme. Like, Nina is constantly mad at me. Me and Nina end up being like the two closest. But she's always mad at me. Like, she's always mad at me, but she'll tell me like, "Oh, I'm her favorite," in the group, or when it was all four of us, she would tell me like I'm her favorite. But she was always the most mad at me constantly. Anytime I didn't do something that she wanted me to do or behave the way she wanted me to do, it felt like she was mad at me. And maybe some of it was just like my feelings, like feeling like she was mad at me, but I genuinely believe like she was always mad at me, and she was always mad at me. She was always mad at all of us. So it was like we had to walk on eggshells around her to like behave the way she wanted us to behave, kind of like a mom or something. Ava had withheld some information about the N-word situation that I had brought up earlier. I don't know if you remember. And basically saying that like, oh, Nina, who again isn't black, says the N-word all the time in the car around her and stuff, and like that's why she felt like I was like overreacting. And so here I am thinking like, oh my God, we just cut off Allie because because she thinks that you're racist and because you think she's racist. Moral of the story is like you're still saying these words, yet you swear that you stand by the people so much and that you're for the people and that, you want racial equality and that we shouldn't be saying slurs, and but yet you're still doing this. So it did like weird me out, and I did bring it up to her and we had like a discussion about it, but after we had talked about it, like I felt a lot better. Again, even though that probably should have been a red flag and I should have just like no. But yeah, so Allie had like told me that, and she had told me a bunch of other information that Nina was saying behind my back about me, which was really weird again because she's telling me that I'm her favorite. And like, like we would hang out the most and we would talk the most. We would call like first thing in the morning when we would wake up, and like last person before we go to sleep. Like we were so close. Um Eventually there was some talks of like a Mexico trip. We had been talking about this trip when we were friends with Allie, but obviously when we had cut Allie off, she wasn't going to be coming to Mexico with us anymore, so we are going to go to Mexico to stay in Natalie's family's house. And at this point, this is when things are getting the like most jacked up because since Allie wasn't coming, we also brought our friend Peyton. She's still my friend, love Peyton. Um but not really why. Like she was just gonna come and now we had room for her to come. So I think that really pissed off Allie probably too, but I don't know. I haven't talked to her, so I don't really know if she even knew. Um, but the Mexico trip is like where things started to go downhill. So on the very first night we went out, on the very first night that we went out, we went to this place and I wasn't really, I don't know. Ava and Nina were kind of sticking together, and me and Peyton were sticking together. And so, like, they had left us at the table with Nina's dad, and then they went and took pictures, but they didn't ask us to go with them or anything, which I felt like was kind of weird, but okay. So then we, like, went over to them. They weren't talking to us. I don't know. We ended up having a good night. Like, we were all dancing, we were all drinking, but at some point, like, Nina and Ava had met these two guys, and they were, like, dancing with them and, like, making out with them and stuff. Mind you, Ava has a boyfriend. But this is not the first time that she's done something like this. So I'm like, whatever. I'm talking to Chad at this time, so I'm like trying not to get into things. But like, me and Peyton are doing our own thing. Peyton sees a guy that she likes, so we're like hanging out with him while I'm like on the phone with Chad. At the same time, and they start fighting at like this club thing we're at. I don't know. Um, it's not even a club, it's like a restaurant or situation. I don't know. A bunch of people start fighting. They're throwing the cups everywhere. So like me and Peyton run away, and then we find Allie and Nina, and I mean Ava and Nina, and they are like running towards the drama, and they're like Ava's like all cuddled up with this guy, like like while the fighting's going on, and on the top of that we can't find Nina's dad, so she's really mad. She doesn't know where her dad is. Whenever we end up finding him, he's like, she's drunk, and she was drunk. She was very drunk, but she gets mad at us because her dad wants us to go home because she's drunk. There's fighting, like he doesn't want us out here. We're in Mexico. It can be dangerous. I guess there's not really guns like that in Mexico though, so like we didn't really have to worry about that. But he wanted us to go, so me and Peyton are like, okay, one more drink, like trying to convince him to stay. But we don't speak the same language. There was a language barrier. So we were thinking, like, let's have one more drink and then, like, we'll see. I thought, like, that's what we thought we were expressing. But he was like, you can have one more drink and then we're leaving. So, anyways, Nina ended up getting really mad that we were talking to her dad about this when she had left us with him. Like, she yelled at him and then ran away back to the guys. So she got really mad and she told us like she didn't even want us there and literally yelling at us. This is like her Mexico trip, by the way. Like we're going with her. She's like, I don't even want you guys here. Like you're not drunk. You're acting sober. She was mad at us because she was drunk and Ava was drunk, but Peyton and I weren't drunk. And so she was like, it looks like you guys aren't having a good time because you're not acting drunk. And I was like, why would I act drunk if I'm not drunk? That sounds so stupid. So then we all end up getting in, like, we all end up going home. Peyton's kind of not in the situation. Like, she's just chilling. But me and Ava, or like Ava tries to talk to me and make me feel better. I just wasn't trying to hear it because like I was just so irritated. I feel bad. I was really rude to her in that at that time. But like when I'm mad, I just need some time. And then me and Nina end up getting into it, like screaming at each other, yada yada yada. I think like because she's like she gets in a really bad argument with her dad, and then she tries to say that like me and Peyton are the one that caused her and her dad to get into this fight and all this stuff, and I'm like that has like what? Like, I can't control what your dad says to you. I'm sorry I wasn't drunk. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what you want me to do. And I was having a good time. I just wasn't drunk. Like, I'm not gonna act drunk. And even when I am drunk, I handle myself very well. So, you would never, like, it's not exactly the same thing. Um, and she has a history of, like, she can't handle herself when she gets drunk. And that's a fact. Everybody knows. I mean, I literally talked about it in my last video about when she had called me about being dead. Moral of the story is like the tensions are high already from the first day. The next morning, me and Nina end up making up because I'm like, I have to be with her for 14 more days. Like, we have to make up. But at this point, I'm already thinking like I don't even want to be friends with this girl. Like for a moment, I did think that with because like how are you gonna tell me that you don't want me to be here? And like she had said some really nasty things to me, all because I'm not drunk, all because of a miscommunication with your dad. When you could have spoke to your dad, I don't speak Spanish. Like I'm trying my best here. Peyton speaks more Spanish than me, but like we're trying our best to communicate. So I don't know what you want me to do. When it's time to order, like we're having Nina help us because none of us really speak that great of Spanish, and she's like just getting mad and like she's really buddy buddy with Ava at this time because Ava's also Mexican, which I am too, but I just don't speak the language, I guess. But she's like really buddy buddy with Ava and like just like kind of they're like just like it's them two very much and me and Peyton very much. And so it's like kind of weird tension, like very weird tension. Come to find out, like Nina was talking mad shit about me, especially on the trip, like saying that I'm like spoiled and my mom spoils me and I'm just a little brat and da 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 da, which you guys are gonna find out a lot about my life. Like, I am spoiled in the way, like, I have a great relationship with my mom, but we had to work our butts off to get here. So to sit here and tell me that I'm spoiled, especially when you know so much about me, it's like, do you even listen to anything? And so what if I am? Like, if I know that I'm have a good life and I'm spoiled, like, and I'm appreciative of everything I have, then is it really being spoiled? Like, this girl, mind you, is very well off. Like she's very well off. And she just just doesn't even seem to see how good she has it. I guess nobody can really tell how good they have it. But it's just like not true, you know? And so yeah, anyways, everybody's getting sick. Like one by one everybody gets sick like with a cold. And eventually we go to another town. We're at Nina's family house and I get sick. And this is like what we're here for. We're here for these festivals. They're supposed to be like bailes all week and we're supposed to go there to dance for like 5 days in a row. But I'm so sick. Like I get so sick. My throat's hurting. I have so much mucus. My nose is stuffy. My body aches. I'm getting a fever. I'm getting dizzy. Like I am so sick. I get more sick than any of them. And Ava and Nina seem to think that I'm faking it and I'm just being spoiled and like I just don't want to party with them, which I did eventually get to a point where I didn't like to go out with Nina because I don't like that she can't handle herself when she drinks, you know? And I still loved her. Like, I just didn't want to do that. But obviously, we're on vacation, so I want to party. I paid for this trip too. I want to be here. But I literally just do not feel good enough. And so they seem to not, like, care. I was, like, real sick. I was gross. Like, I was blowing my nose into napkins, and, like, I'm not gonna get up every time, so I, like, stuffed them under my pillow, and, like, that made them mad, which honestly is disgusting and valid, but it did happen. I'm not a perfect. Um, and it's just like it was just like so much like Ava sleeping naked next to me getting sweat on me and like I'm sick and coughing on her and like we're so sick of each other like we're all sleeping in the same bed. It's just disgusting. um but yet Peyton still an angel to me, like okay. And like tensions are just rising. They're getting mad at me because when I'm trying to go out I have to come back home one day early because I'm sick or I can't go. And then on top of that, like when we're at the house, like they won't let me talk to Chad on the phone. Anytime I talk to Chad, they're like yelling on me, saying, "Get off the phone with Chad, like you're being so rude." Mind you, Ava's on the phone with her boyfriend that she has, done things to on this trip constantly. She's on the phone with him all day. From the time we wake up, like all the time, multiple times a day. And they're saying like it's different because they're dating, which yeah, but it's really not. Like, I have been with you guys at this point for 2 weeks. Like, if I want to have a phone call for fucking 30 minutes to talk to the guy I like, I should be able to have a phone call for 30 minutes to talk to the guy I like, you know? So, it's just like things are just not, they're not going well. Um, anyways, we eventually, like, I don't know. There's just so much tension. We have a conversation about what's going on. They said that it's like I'm just being spoiled and like I should have just went out even though I was sick because that's like what we came here for, which I did go out when I was sick one day and it was like miserable. And another day I went out and I had to come home because I was so sick. So it was like I was trying, but again, I'm sick. What do you want me to do? And so they were mad at me about that. They said that me and Peyton were being messy, which we were cleaning like up after we made ourselves food. But it's like the kitchen was already a mess for one, and we're cleaning up after ourselves, but the kitchen was already a mess. And like, I don't know. I just like we were cleaning, so I just don't know what that allegation was, and they didn't like the way we were like the way we packed our stuff, or just like it was just very nitpicky. Like, I don't think we all should have been in one room together for 2 weeks. Like, it was just too much, like that we were fighting over the bathroom. It was too much. Um and I'm a person, like, I need a lot of space. I need a lot of personal space. I need to be able to sit in my room by myself, scroll on my phone. I need to be able to talk on the phone to whoever I want to. I need to be able to, like, christen my space with all my funk, even though I'm still, like, I've also lived with a person, like, I've shared rooms with people before, so I am aware of that, but, like, I do need my space. And if I'm stepping out of the room to go scroll on my phone by myself and it's a fucking problem, like, obviously I'm gonna start to get irritated with you guys, like, duh. So nobody seemed to understand that. Anyways, um, Anyways, when we all leave, we decide, like, we're probably gonna just take some space from each other, which I felt like it was mostly targeted towards me because, like, Nina's dad wasn't coming back with us. Her family was gonna, like, meet him in Mexico. And so it turns out, like, Nina and Ava had plans to, like, stay at Nina's house for, like, the 3 weeks that her dad wasn't gonna be there. And, like, I wasn't really invited. Like, I didn't even know that that was happening. I didn't even know her dad wasn't coming. So, like, to me, it did make me feel a little bit left out. But whatever, we all needed some space from each other. Anyways, so this is when Isaac comes into play. Isaac tells me that Nina is gonna cut me off, and, like, just all this stuff that she's cutting me off and she's not gonna be my friend anymore. And I'm pissed off because I'm like, this, like, is what happened with the Ariana situation. Like, she's gonna cut me off because of something she didn't like something didn't go her way, she's cutting me off. So I'm, like, pissed off because I value our friendship so much, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm also so mad. And so I call Ava, I'm talking to her about the situation. She's like, that's fucked up. Like, this is fake. Like, this is happening. I'm like, yeah, this is fake. Um, like, that this is happening, but she's like, I just don't think it's happening like that. Like, I just don't think the situation's actually going on. She's also telling me, like, the stuff, like, about like, Nina was the one who was calling me spoiled over the trip. Nina was the one who was talking, like, the most shit about me behind my back. Nina had said that I was the one trying to kick Ava out of the friend group, which I wasn't trying to kick Ava out of the friend group. This was I was still hanging out with Ava when Allie and Nina were having problems with Ava, so why would I be trying to kick her out when that was 100% like them? So, like, just telling me all this stuff. And then I bring it to Nina, and she's like, none of this is real. Like, I didn't say any of that. This is all fake. Da 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 da. Ava had told me about a situation where, like, uh Nina's friend was, like, talking about me or something, like, badly, saying that, like, I'm a bitch, like, all this shit. And so, like, I brought it up to Nina, and she's like, no, like, that didn't happen. Ava was actually the one talking crap about you with my friend and, like, telling her all this stuff. So then I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't know who to believe, but I'm obviously, like, really close with Nina, so, like, I want to believe Nina. So then one day we all come up to work. Ava comes up to us to talk about it because me and Nina had made up. She comes up to us to talk about it in the parking lot before we go into work. And it starts, like, turning into a screaming match. I'm yelling at Ava, Ava's yelling at me, Ava's yelling at Nina, Nina's yelling at Nina's yelling at me. Like, we're all yelling at each other. But I just want Ava to tell me in front of Nina everything that she had told me that Nina had said. Just so that way we can clock it as it comes out. But she just wasn't saying it. She said that I was making it all up, that it was not true. And I think there was just a lot of, like, miscommunication going on and within these conversations. And so basically, like, we just got into a huge fight. I start bringing up, like, Ava, like, um not and Ava, like, in her relationship, like, just saying things I don't need to say necessarily, but I'm, like, pissed off, and she's saying things that she doesn't need to say to me. So then we're fighting at work, and then we stop fighting, like, and the conversation ends, we're done. After that, me, Ava, and Nina, not friends. It's just me and Nina, and Ava's not in our friend group anymore, really. So we do talk to, like, a couple days later, I try to talk to Ava at work, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm sorry, can we be friends? And then she, like, is like, no, fuck you guys are all fake. She says, you're fake Peyton, you're fake Madeline, you're fake Nina, basically, like, going off on us absolutely crazy in front of the managers. Like, like it was just so uncalled for. And so we're like, okay, we're done. So then Nina's like, well, we need to get our stuff back from Ava. So Nina goes and talks to Ava to get our stuff back. And then Nina's like, can you go up to Ava and tell her like she needs to bring it back by tomorrow at like 12? So I'm like, okay. Ava obviously like doesn't give a fuck. Just like, bitch, you're on my time, you know? I still haven't got my stuff back, by the way. Um, but like yeah, it's just like we're done. So then it's just me and Nina, we're chilling, living our lives. Me, Nina, and Peyton, we're hanging out, we're going out. I'm hanging out with Chad. Nina doesn't like Chad because she doesn't want me talking to a guy. She thinks I need to be single. She's like, hot girl summer, da 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 da, you need it, whatever. I get where she's coming from to an extent, but it's like if I really like somebody, you should just let me really like somebody, and he treats me well, so you just should be happy for me. But she just wasn't. And she was like, I'll start being nice to him after 3 months. So Chad and Nina are having beef with each other. Anytime I'm around both of them, like Nina's rude to him. Chad's like not gonna let some random girl be rude to him, so he's gonna stand up for himself. And it was like just this weird tension. It was so frustrating. Like anytime I was hanging out with Chad, I felt like I needed to keep it a secret from Nina, or else Nina was gonna get mad at me. So it was like really weird. She eventually like was getting mad at me because I would hang out with him, and mind you, Chad's going away. Like she knew this. Like we only had like a month together before he leaves next week to go to college, and then we're not going to be seeing each other like this. So I thought that she would be understanding, like that I'm going to have to be splitting my time more in between them all, because like I need time for myself, my family, Chad, and my friends, um because at this time me and Chad had started dating too, especially. And so, like, she just wasn't getting it. And she would just get mad at me, kind of, like, for not going out with them. And I also, like, haven't really wanted to go out. I haven't really wanted to go to the club. I've been clubbing since February. Like, I'm tired. I am exhausted. I need to lock in. I need to make money. I need to do all these things. And, like, she just wasn't, like, really getting it. And, like, that would piss her off. But Peyton would still go with them to go out and stuff. And so I feel like she was just kind of like a little bit jealous that I was sharing, like being shared with Chad, 'cause she didn't like any of the guys I ever talked to ever. She always hated having to share me, I would say. And so I think that really pissed her off. And then, I wasn't doing things the way she wanted me to do them when she wanted me to do them. And like that was pissing her off. And that was also pissing me off because I hate being controlled. So eventually, I get a text. No, eventually, it's the 4th of July. Me, Peyton, and Nina are gonna go watch the fireworks, or we were supposed to have plans together, but we didn't end up making plans. So Nina ended up making plans with her other friends, and then me and Peyton are like, okay, we're gonna go with you guys to go watch fireworks. But we live in Fort Myers, Cape Coral area, and it's really far away from where they wanted to go watch fireworks. They wanted to watch fireworks in Naples. I was braiding my hair the night before. I didn't finish braiding my hair until 1 o'clock on the 4th of July. And then I had to get ready, and then Peyton was getting ready, and we were just running really late, and there was no way we were going to make it to Naples to watch the fireworks at that time. So we don't go. Me and Peyton end up going downtown and telling Nina, like, we're not going to go. We just don't have enough time. And so we end up going downtown to watch the fireworks because it's 15 minutes away. We end up missing the fireworks anyways, but um, we like go get a drink at this burger place, and like I post a video of us on my private story on Snapchat. I never post on my private story on Snapchat. This is very rare. I literally made it like a month before. All my posts are of Nina and I, except for this one post. And at some point, like I guess Nina's not on my private story. I don't know why. I don't remember taking her off. I can't imagine taking her off. I don't have any reason to take her off. But I don't use Snapchat like that anyways, so I never would have known that she wasn't on there. And so the next day she removes herself from our group chat, and I'm like, what the heck? This is so weird. But she removed herself from her group chat because, like, I had messaged her and I asked her, I'm gonna pull up the receipts actually because I want to know what she had said. So I'm gonna read the messages to you off my phone. But I was like really confused, like, why is she leaving our group chat? That's so weird because we're all so close. Like, that makes no sense. So I texted her, I said, hey love, I noticed you left the group chat. I know things haven't been really good between us the last couple weeks, and I just want to talk about what's going on. I love you so much, and your friendship means a lot to me. I really don't want to see this end at all. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I know I haven't been the most present recently. I just want to know what to do because I feel like you are pulling away. Can we please talk about it? I know we are normally able to talk about things. Love you. And then I had like text her again, and I told her that I was like sorry again because like I'm freaking out. I have an anxious attachment style. Like I'm like, what the heck? Because to me this seems like kind of coming out of nowhere. And she says, honestly, Madeline, I do love you and I do care about you, but I just don't think this friendship is what it used to be anymore. I think that we have different priorities and are on two different paths. What did it for me was that you have a private story that I'm not on, and it just made me realize that Ava was right, honestly, for not wanting to be friends with us because things do feel toxic and a bit fake. I don't even understand this friendship anymore. All I know is that I want my peace in my life and I just want to accomplish things. Um, you want to hold your friends on a certain level, but you can't reciprocate the same energy. I'm honestly tired and drained. I don't like whatever this tension this friendship has developed into, which honestly, reading that was a shock to me because one, again, like I said, I don't use my Snapchat. I don't post on my Snapchat story like that ever. So I didn't know she wasn't even on my private when I had posted a video of me and Peyton out drinking. Like I just, that, it was never, I don't know. And then she later goes on to say that like maybe I was posting things with people that she didn't want me to like that I didn't want her to know about. Like who do I know in Florida that you don't like that I could be hanging out with? Like I know everybody I know in Florida, she also knows in Florida. And so like I don't know who how you think I'd be hanging out with the enemies. And then she said that I like to hold my friends at a certain energy, but I can't reciprocate the same thing. But I feel like that was totally a projection because only thing I want is honesty, like, out of my friends, but she's the one always talking crap, doing all this fake stuff behind each other's backs, so it was like, I wrote it off for a long time, I never thought that she was fake, until, like, reading that, I realized, like, oh my god, like, you are projecting hardcore, like, this is so weird, because this is not me. Um, but whatever. And then she said that I had a lot of tension around her, but I felt like again, like a lot of the tension was coming from her. Ever since we had came back from Mexico, things had been so off. And so I just like all of this was like this tension, this energy, like it's all coming from you and you're saying it's me. Like obviously this is a misunderstanding because I'm thinking that I'm getting like bad vibes from you. You're thinking you're getting bad vibes from me, but like at the end of the day, we both love each other. So like we could just I don't know. So I wanted to go and talk to her and go get lunch and like talk about it after she had some times. But she said like she didn't really want to and all this stuff and so yeah, eventually like I was just like whatever. She doesn't want to be my friend. You don't have to be my friend, whatever. And then I had asked her if I could go pick up my wax pot one day like last week and she like never replied. Keep my stuff then if you really want it. But she said and then we got in a fight because she was like, I can give you your wax pot tomorrow, but can you meet me somewhere also, can you please take down the part of me in your podcast or take it down completely? We're not speaking, so I don't know why you would even mention me in your podcast. This is the part in my podcast last week where I had said, like, my friend had called me. I thought she was dying, but she's not dying. And I was telling that portion of the story to tell you guys, like, I can't have a normal sleepover with Chad because, like, I had another sleepover with Chad and I woke up screaming in my sleep. So it was, those two stories went together. I also talked about how much I love her, how much her friendship means to me, and how I love her so much. So it's not like I was saying anything bad about her at all. It just kind of correlated with the story. So I was like, what? This makes no sense. And I was like, I'm not going to be in town till Wednesday because I was out of town. And I said, also, I had filmed that podcast before everything happened. Unfortunately, I don't think I can remove specific parts once it has been uploaded. Because I don't think you can. And I wasn't going to take my podcast down. Like, I had just started posting, like, that video did pretty okay, I would say, on views for the most part. Like, as somebody who hasn't posted in a long time. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it down. Like, that makes no sense to me. And then she said, I understand that, but why would you even post that if we're not friends anymore? Can you just take it down? But also, like, I literally barely mentioned her. If you go to that episode, I literally talked about that situation for less than 20 seconds of that podcast. Like, that's the only time she came up. I was talking well of her. I was telling a funny story, whatever. And she said that I was like being childish. I was like, I'll take it down once I get my wax pot because I had asked her for my wax pot days ago and she never answered. Um, but I'm not gonna take it down after all. Um, I don't know. I said it's not that deep. The video isn't about you. It was a minor part. So I don't think I need to remove the whole video just because I had mentioned your names. We were friends at that point. We were friends at that point, and the portion I told was my portion of the story. So I don't feel like it's that deep. She said people at work are coming up to me about it, so take it down. We worked at a restaurant. I don't know who is coming up to you about my podcast that 500 people viewed. I don't know anybody in Florida. I don't know who's coming up to you. Like, that's just such bull. Nobody's coming up to you about my podcast. Like, nobody saw it. Nobody's watching. If you're watching right now, I probably, like, it's a miracle because nobody's watching. So that was just insane to me. But I said, oh my God. She said, how are you gonna sit here and tell me it's not that deep when it's my feelings, bro? I don't, um, I don't know why you put it in there. You had the chance to cut it out before you even put it up. So I had the video like ready to be it was edited, ready to go before we had stopped being friends. So why would I cut it out? Like I didn't know we were gonna stop being friends, you know? Um, so whatever. It was just like really stupid. She told me that like I'm being childish and this is the reason why we're not friends anymore. So now we're not on speaking terms anymore. We stopped talking. That was like a week ago. And yeah, so now me and Nina aren't friends, and me and none of the girls are friends. Um, but whatever. I guess moral of the story is shit happens, and while things suck and people suck and situations suck, not everybody's here forever. Like, not every friendship is meant to last forever. I learned so much from this friendship. I'm so grateful for all of those girls for when I did have them, but the drama was just like unnecessary. And I feel like there was a lot of like, I feel like we just all felt like we had too much control over each other's lives. Like it was so not necessary at all. Um, and a lot of talking behind one another's back. Like it really wasn't healthy, but I do think that we all loved each other. And I wish that I could go back and we could like all fix things, or we could just have like one more hangout all together because those were the best, but I can't. So yeah, that's when I lost all my friends in 3 months. Basically, I just think it was like a lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication. Sometimes I feel like I present myself in a way that people don't understand. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit on the spectrum, but like when somebody tells me that we're gonna be friends for life, I like to think like we're gonna be on friends for life. So that's where I was hurt because I'm thinking like, oh, we're gonna be friends forever. We're gonna work through things. We're gonna like figure things out. And turns out it didn't happen. It's not gonna happen. And we all just hate each other. And yeah, I do think that Nina actually kind of copped out and like was just saying things about me because I know she really missed Ava. And so I think she wanted to be friends with Ava. And since me and Peyton got fired from work, she didn't have any friends at work. And I know that that was something she was worried about. So I'm assuming like she cut me and Peyton off because she wanted to have somebody to be friends with at work because there was actually like nothing really going on. Like we were all fine. We were fine except for the last 2 weeks when I decided I wasn't gonna go party with them because I didn't want to. I shouldn't have to go to the club if I don't want to, you know? Um, so yeah, I feel like that whole situation is kind of fake too because I don't know, like she'll post like Nina will post like Ava on her story saying like I miss you, da da da, wish I could go back. But it's like that whole time you were talking about how much you don't like being around her and how much you like think that like you think badly about the way that she is with her boyfriend and all this stuff. So it's just like to me it does seem really fake, especially when like I genuinely was trying to just accept these girls for who they were, you know? But I guess not everybody's on that thing. I feel like if anything, Allie was the most like accepting of one another, even though she and Ava didn't really get along very well. So yeah, that's all. If you know the girls I'm talking about, just whatever. Maybe don't hit up Nina because she's gonna freak out. But I did use a fake name this time, so you can't really get mad at me, and it's all the truth. So yeah, that's the best I could do. Thank you so much for watching. This has been really long. Thanks for watching if you have. This might be boring. Anyways, that's all. See you next week. Bye.